guys, it's Gamer Ahmer here. So today's pickup is crazy. So this right here, you may be thinking, what is this old piece of junk? Well, this right here has been on my list for quite some time. I shockingly did not have any of these vintage tabletop video game systems in my collection, and I scored this for one crazy deal. So let's go ahead and check this out. So I actually scored this vintage video game tabletop arcade local, and I scored it for less than $20. So this thing is fully functional. It came with some batteries included as well, and this just has a crazy history behind it. So right here you'll notice that this is Galaxian, and this is modeled after those arcade machines, and this one was actually released in 1979. So if you were alive back then, you will remember these systems, especially if you played those arcade games in the arcades. You had your very first video game systems at home, and you wanted that arcade feel right in your house. Well, you can actually use this cheaper alternative and play those classic arcade games right at home with this portable tabletop miniature arcade. So this one was one of many that, of course, Midway and Coleco actually created. Now, of course, there are tons of different spins on these arcade classics, and this one right here is actually pretty spectacular, as it has so many different features than what the original arcade would have actually had at that time. So even though this isn't your typical LCD screen or that newer style, this actually was pretty great back in the day. Now, it didn't have all these full color features, but these colors are bright, and you can actually see it from any angle that you look at it. So with a fresh pair of batteries in here, it actually takes several batteries, and of course these are some of your larger C batteries. It takes 4. So it creates a pretty good weight to it when you actually have it setting down on a countertop. And the crazy thing about this arcade is that you have 2 different controls right here. So of course you have these little joysticks on both sides. You have 2 fire buttons, and this is off, player 1, and player 2. So you have different options while playing this game. And once again, even if you play with 2 players, you can both see the screen from any angle. So that really makes it pretty interesting to play. And you'll notice on here that there are 2 different game select modes. For your first player, you can play the regular Galaxian game, or you can play Midway's Attackers. And then over here, for this second player, you can play 2 different style games. You can do the head-to-head Galaxian, and you can do the short or the long version while playing it. So this is actually a really fun game. These tabletop arcades have been eluding me for quite some time, and anytime that I do find them, all of these stickers are all ripped off. Usually they're missing some of these stickers. They're just all beat up, and they're not in as great shape as these are on this particular one. So this one right here is just in really great shape. It doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to it. And for being from 1979, this thing looks like it was pretty well kept, and everything's fully functional. It even came with the batteries, and I scored it for less than $20. I usually see these sell for over $80, sometimes $100 and some dollars. So this is just insane that I found this thing local to me for such a great deal. And this is a pretty neat game, and while I was playing it, I fell in love. I need to find more of these. They have tons of different style games from those classic arcades. There's plenty to go ahead and collect, and there's just plenty to have in the collection. So this is really neat, and they do even make some of the newer gen models of these particular mini arcade tabletops. You can go in pretty much any store that sells video games and find some of those tabletop versions for the new feel of these old classic games. but I just love something about all of these vintage and classic games. I just love how this has shaped everything today, and these just look really great on display, and it's just great to have them, especially fully functional ones like this, to have right in my little retro corner. So let me know if you've had any of these vintage tabletop arcades from back in the day. Which ones were some of your favorite games to play? Do you have any that ring a bell? And did you have this particular model of this Galaxian? So, of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.